Well, good morning. Thank you. This is your session, so I am expecting audience participation. So I hope you didn't have a very long evening last night and your heads are nice and clear. I thought I would kick off with some data from the OECD, because how can I not talk about data from the OECD? Here's a lovely graphic. This shows who's spending money on research. On the left-hand axis, you've got the number of researchers, and on the bottom axis, you've got spending, and the size of the bubble shows the volume of R&D being spent. So you can see, obviously, that America is spending the most. China, a nice big bubble down there. Not many researchers, but that's growing very fast. This is quite old data. Some of it's from 2005. I'm sure that if we had later data, that Chinese bubble would be higher up the chart. But you can see there that these are the big sort of research centers. It's probably no surprise to any of you, but it is interesting. It is interesting. Finland, top right-hand corner there, spending a lot on research for their size of their economy. This is an interesting graphic. It's based on Scopus data. And it shows the relationship between authors, so then the number of authors. So each bubble is the number of authors in that country, and the connections are where you have co-authors across countries. And so the breadth of the line shows you the amount of interaction between authors in different countries. Again, there you can see China. This data is newer, but you can see China very big on this chart, particularly when you compare what the numbers were like in 1998. And you can see the huge growth there for China, but also for Korea and India. And I haven't got the full chart from 1998, but all of the bands are thicker in 2009. So basically, the research is becoming more international. It's becoming less national, but that's interesting. I've got the DOIs for all of these slides, so you can go and look them up in your own time. This is the number of people working in R&D. It's number of researchers per million of the working population. So in the blue area, you've got Europe. And you can see, if you can't read it, you've got Finland, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden on the left-hand side. And the purple is 2009, and the grey is in 1996. In the middle white band there, you've got Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. Then you've got the BRICS, and you can see the BRICS are growing from a small base, other than Russia. In fact, Russia's the only one going backwards in terms of the number of researchers. There are fewer researchers in Russia. You've got USA and Canada, and then you've got Mexico, Turkey, and Chile. It's an odd set of countries because the OECD membership is an odd set of countries. But that's some idea of again where people are working in R&D. And then thinking to the future, I thought it'd be interesting to pull up a chart showing the number of students. And this is entry rates into university level education in 2000 and 2010. So 2000 is the dark line and the light line is 2010. And it seems extraordinary that in Australia you've got almost 100% of kids actually go to university now. Same with Iceland, Portugal, Poland. So some interesting there, and you sort of begin to wonder whether those countries are reaching saturation in terms of the number of students going into higher education. Equally, at the other end, you wonder whether there's room for growth in countries like Germany, Turkey, Belgium, Mexico, Indonesia, and China. And maybe that's where we're going to see a new generation if the universities expand in those areas. I think it's interesting to see Germany so low there, but I think that's a reflection on the way that the German education system is split between the universities and the more technical universities that they have in Germany. So I just thought I'd show you this, which is this is the growth in and the pattern of people who actually read the OECD's research. So I'm not sure how clear that is, but you can see obviously the United States and Europe is where our main reading is going on. This is measuring the downloads of our publications and our data. But this is the thing that I think is really interesting. It's the growth, the year-on-year growth from 2011 to 2012. And we see very, very strong growth in Southeast Asia and a very strong growth in Africa. And this is sort of particularly interesting because these are these are countries that are not members of the OECD, but they're reading our research in greater numbers. And we're seeing pretty strong growth globally. It's interesting to see very strong growth in North America. I think also partly there's a lot of growth to our publications because we publish stuff on the economy, and the economy is a lot in the news. So I think there's another reason that's driving that growth. I'll just leave this slide up through the rest of the morning. It's a list of societies and associations that you may be, I'm sure you're aware of some of them, but obviously there's SSP itself, there's STM, which is the Global Trade Association for Academic and Professional Publishers. It's got 120 members in 21 countries. You've got ALPSP, I have to declare an interest, I'm past chair of ALPSP, I'm on the council. And we've got 300 members in 40 countries. And then there's the Open Access Scholarly Publishers Association, which has got about 75 members. So these are associations that you may want to join to be involved in the community.